So the notion like that it's kind of an insight to say these practices, if you measure them, you'd imagine a dip, as if that's like by the way, it's wonderful that Grace was here, and her work is, I think, very important. But I mean, anyone who's done some practice would know that, right? That's what you know, right? I mean, this is not so like if we have practices that we haven't fostered, paid attention to, that we're trying to use in the classroom, my judgment is we could very well do harm, both in terms of ourselves, our students, and the outcomes that we're trying to attain. So having a deep sense or an inquiry into the practices that we're engaging in is necessary. Just like you wouldn't teach, I wouldn't teach, like if someone told me like teach a yoga class, yoga's really cool, but I don't know nothing about yoga. So you know what I mean? So I'm not going to harm people's joints, or I'm not going to do that. I don't know. It's like downward dog. Well, it seems like you bend over and put your butt in the air, right? I mean, like, okay, ready, down, and put your butt in the air. It's like no. That's so this is the same. This is, you might think, well, that's different from sitting and watching your breath. I would argue, no, it is not. That sitting and you have a student who's prepared to sit and watch breath, and something can break. A 19-year-old whose ego is just being developed, whose frontal lobes are just developing, and suddenly gets a sense of from whence do these thoughts arise, and starts to follow that. That can be some heavy shit. And that's just like, no, I was just asking you to look at your breath. So Mirabai was always telling me, like, Dan, don't do this, because because it sounds like such a downer. It's a Debbie Downer kind of a moment. But it's important for this work. If, like, following the breath, you know this, if you've done this for a while, it's very significant. What arises is very significant. So these practices, whatever the practices are, they need to be fostered by those who have some sense of them. And they don't need to be. I'm not saying they shouldn't be. I'm not against it in any way. They don't need to be mindfulness. They don't need to be meditation. They need to foster some deep inquiry into interiority and the complex of that. And many of us enter through that particular door. But even that door, mindfulness door, you koan practice. It's completely different from my practice. Though it's a sitting meditation practice, that's a totally different practice, like mind-bogglingly different. So this is significant to get in touch with that intention